to. In fact, the Seminole, they said, was some kind of runaway slaves, but that ain't even what had happened, according to the Smithsonian. According to si.edu, Smithsonian Institute.edu, they said in their files from the archaeologists that were down there, they said the Seminoles was made up of Yuchi, Yamasee, Creek, Hitachi, and other tribes who did not want to trade with white people, period. And so they start protecting themselves another kind of way. The Smithsonian files called them the wealthiest in the world. The Smithsonian files said they were the most astute. The reason why their military was able to beat every branch of the United States military is because they knew the land and they were smarter. These are the white people who was writing this who didn't think we'd ever read it. The nigga was never supposed to even get the log in. These files was never supposed to be released, y'all. The only reason they released the files is because they were sued last year and they started releasing the files last year because they lost the lawsuit. So when y'all see this stuff come out, and when y'all see, oh, they found a Trojan horse today, it's because people done started back digging, because now we're reading these files that the Smithsonian released that they were forced to release. And now we're getting the true story. Not only did these people have zero European contact, in the Smithsonian files, it says the only reason they even called it Spanish Florida is because Spain did that. There was no traces of Spain in Spanish Florida. They said that's a corruption. Spain wanted to claim that territory, and so they put it on their maps. They wanted to claim the territory, so they put it on their maps and called it Spanish Florida. There was no Spanish. There was no Spain ever down there, according to the newly released and according to the declassified files. Those was all niggas. Now, at those mounds as well, they found carbon. Now, a part of the tesser when you look at the makeup of that tesser, you'll find C8 in there. Carbon 8. Carbon 8. This carbon 8 is a dog whistle. This carbon 8 is being used for carbon capture. They're calling it carbon capture. Now, I said, now this must be some kind of something. So let me keep looking. Let me go to the west. Let me go to the north. Let me go somewhere else and see. Can I find this same kind of thing? So I went and tapped the Rockies. Wichita Mountain Range. I went and tapped it. I went and tapped the Rocky Mountains. And I looked through those excavation files from the Rocky Mountains. One of those mountains excavated a layer of dirt, because it wasn't sand over there. It was a layer of dirt, a layer of clear stone. And inside inside this clear stone bodies. All of the bodies was over 6 feet tall. Anything over 6 feet tall in ancient times or during antiquity were considered giants, because the average European was not 6 feet tall. They had not yet mixed with your genetics. So here we are, skipped across country and found more stones. Now in these files, archaeologists was trying to figure out, what is this clear stone? We're not sure about this clear stone, but they're breaking down the chemical properties of this clear stone and trying to figure out what it is. Now, in my mind, I automatically thought it was a quartz. I said, well, that's a quartz. If it's a clear stone, it got to be some sort of quartz. But no. They said, well, in the findings, there was carbon found in some of the pyramids. So this must be a harder version of carbon. It must be diamonds. Then they started talking about the vein. I think it was a Kimber something vein where the most diamonds are found. And then we were lied to. They found bodies on the diamonds, bodies on the hematite, bodies on the copper, and in every mound that I've looked at the findings so far, there was a carbon involved. So I said, all right. The archaeologists during the time of antiquity, which is very recent, late 1800s, they did not know about stones. They did not know about stones until they came over to America and started excavating. Fortunately for us, if I have an ancestor that's buried in one of these pyramids, yes, from the Jump coffee shop. If I have an ancestor that's buried in one of these pyramids and I'm full of carbon, there's no doubt in my mind that you all do too. In these findings, there's no mention of white people. The archaeologist who was excavating them was white people. There is no mention of Siberia. There is no mention of no places in Asia or Europe or Africa. They are calling these sites. They are using the term Aborigine, literally, in the Smithsonian files that were not even supposed to be declassified. They were calling the mound sites Aborigine sites. So when you add that to the equations, it makes sense that you own the land. There were mound sites that they could not get to. In fact, there was a doctor or somebody in Jacksonville who would not let them get to the site that was on his property. And they wrote it in the files. They wrote his name in there. I know I am, Tommy. And they also tracking those of you who astral travel. Now, he had it, they wrote in the file, said, hey, we want to get to this mound site. It's in, what was it? Because I wrote it down. It was Julington. It sounded like Arlington, but it had to be Julington Creek, somewhere in Jacksonville, Julington Creek. The man would not let them get to it. The man would not let them get to it. Some of the other mounds, there was a 6 foot tall mound, 44. Now, when you say 6 foot tall, the tops had already been blasted off. So there was this one that was 6 foot tall, minus the top. Only the tesseract was left, the bottom, the cube. 6 foot tall, 44 base, 19 bodies found. Hematite found in that mound as well. This is Amelia Island. And shell beads found as well. And so shells were used as currency at one point in history. A specific shell was used as currency. So when they say shell, they could very well be talking about gold. At that point, all kind of gold rushes was going on as well. Gold rushes was going on all the way up into the 1900s, where they were discovering this new metal. Our people knew about gold. They didn't know about stones or gold. They knew about bronze because bronze was taken to Europe and they mixed it with another alloy to create a bronze offshoot, basically. These shell beads, when you find that in these findings, when you go to unpacking these mounds, you can conclude, because that was used as a form of currency, just like gold was, you can conclude that that's probably gold. So I'm going to conclude that the Amelia Island, 6 foot tall, 44 wide, 19 bodies. 19 bodies. Hematite. Okay. Ferdinando, Nassau County, the Lighthouse Mound, 12 foot tall. And that's and that was just the tesseract. The tesseract. The top had already been blasted away. 12 foot tall, 75 foot wide base, 74 bodies. Do y'all hear me good? 74 bodies. On a 75 foot wide base mound. Okay. And it just goes on and on and on. You know, on and on and on. On and on and on. On and on and on, y'all. Okay. A mount off the St. Lucie River, 6 foot tall, 8 foot wide base with hematite in it. And so you see these stones in almost every mound. And get this, one of the kickers, these pyramids was covered in sand. They were covered in sand. Not the grassy knoll that we see on some of the mounds. These were covered in sand. Hematite and other stones, probably that they cannot blast away, has a magnetism that will hold the sand. And so our ancestors knew a science that other people didn't know. And the reason why these files say that these were not Europeans, they made it very clear that these were not Europeans. So that you know when you're reading them, so that other white people will know when they're reading them, that these here was niggas. These people who y'all call niggas, the one who y'all said came over on slave ships, the one who y'all tried to cover up that they even existed, we found in their neighborhoods, their historically nigger neighborhoods, all of these mound sites. And we started excavating them and finding these tall people with this black carbon everywhere. They have stones in their findings that look just like this. Now, the chemicals from a white body would not even create this. Ever. Because they don't make carbon. They get carbon when we breathe it out. And so if you are doing a mission, okay? If you are doing an extermination mission, where you're looking for the final stone, and you want to do zero carbon emission, it'll make sense if you look for it in a nigger body. It'll make sense. Because you're doing these carbon capture things, because you're going to need carbon. If you're trying to exterminate a group of people, you're going to need carbon in order for your race to survive. So, of course, you have to do a carbon capture, because the carbon turn the trees green. Okay? The carbon turn the grass that the cows eat green. This carbon. Okay? You're going to need it to survive. So you're going to capture the carbon and store it up. Just like Bill Gates said in 2010. Just like he said. A lot of people didn't catch it. You're going to store it up. Now, I think it's mighty strange that the Chinese are now sourcing American DNA. They've been called to the carpet for sourcing American DNA. They picked a fine time to do it. They picked a very fine time to do it. Now, if y'all still think that you're not being exterminated for whatever reason, they don't want you here. They know you're the tesseract. They know you're the tesser. Something in your cells that they said crystallized, something in your lungs. They discovered last year that the cells in your lungs look like crystals. And then what did they do, y'all? Then what did they do, y'all? Come on, y'all smart. Then what did they do? What did they do, y'all? They found out the cells in you niggers' lungs look like crystals. They called you crystallizable mutants. What did they do, y'all? What did they bring in? Thank you, Scorpio Phoenix. They brought in ventilators. They brought in ventilators. And the ventilators started bursting people's lungs. And they told us not to come to the funeral. And they told us that it's mandatory that this be a closed casket funeral because the coronavirus is so contagious. Meanwhile, birds was flying in the sky. Meanwhile, the dogs wasn't sick. The cats wasn't sick. The ants weren't sick. The cows wasn't sick. And the coronavirus derived from animals. E229 is the strand. E229 is the strand that was manipulated. But nobody got sick but niggas. So when they found out you were crystallizable mutants, they ran other tests on your crystals in your lungs. And they said, oh, yeah, this definitely a respiratory that's going to take a lot of people out. And then they started killing outright. Now you have the frontline doctors out here admitting that Negroes were targeted in the hospitals, that their lungs were burst. Some were zipped in bags alive. And here we are dealing with it. So they found a new crystal in your lungs, which was the Infinity Stone that they can use. It's the Infinity Stone that they can use according to John Hopkins. Along with your melanin samples, along with your crystals, set for space. Now you got all these solar panels, these black solar panels all over the place. Set for space. If y'all think this ain't all tied in together, I would advise you to look at this shit again. We didn't see all these black solar panels all over the place prior to COVID, prior to them realizing that you had crystals in your lungs. They're able to source crystals and source your melanin because they have a mission. I find it mighty strange that Albany was one of the first hardest hit areas, and Albany was also one of the first areas that had all these black solar panels go up. And it's already been came out that those solar panels use a melanin cell in order so that it could absorb more sunlight faster. We have crystals in our brains as well. Thing is, they wanted the tesseract and they got it. And now they're over here doing a tesseract, ACT, to try to pretend like it ain't what it is. They're doing a tesseract. You have actors out here trying to pretend like it ain't what it is. And then if you watch these congressional meetings, you have China asking for more human DNA. American in particular. They didn't ask them for Africa, nor Asia, nor Australia, nor South America, nor Canada for that matter. They're asking for more North American DNA. Now, I don't know how much more clearer. I don't know how much more clearer you need this to be to know that we're at a full-out war. Been in a full-out war. And these doctors just now coming out to talk about this in order to get the niggas on their side. Y'all was complicit in the motherfucking murders too. Everybody was complicit. And now you got these vax companies raking in money on a free product. The only way you can rake in money on a free product is if the byproduct is valuable. The byproduct is a dead body, because that's what's happening. Because you can't make money off no free product unless it's something that comes with it. Now, if I got this patented vax, and you take it, and it changes you, you're mine. That's why when we give you this, we take your address, we take your name, we take all your information so we'll know where the body drop. Because now that's my body, me and my shareholders. You Team Moderna. That's our body. We can do what we want to with your crystallizable mutant ass. Them eye crystals in your lungs now. We found the new way. That's our melanin. Those are our melanin cells now that we can set for our own space mission. If this ain't more, we don't have any allies here. You better know who you are before you go put your arm on a table. So these crackers can put something in you that you don't even know what it is. I don't know how much I got to say this, y'all. But these people didn't even know what a goddamn stone was before they went digging in your ancestors' shit. They had never been exposed to this kind of energy. They didn't even know what a diamond was. Hematite, what's that? It has to be some form of carbon. Y'all got to read this shit. They sitting here trying to figure it out. And just like in the movie, in order to get the Tesseract in the Marvel movie, somebody had to die. Do y'all follow me? In order to get the Tesseract in the movie, somebody had to die. That was it playing out right in front of us. That was them telling us the truth of their slaughter mission and us looking at it as entertainment because we didn't know the war was coming. Nor were we prepared. So let this be a little bit more fire under you to go find your ancestors. Let this be a little more fire under you to know that it is yours. I don't care what anybody say under no post of mine. I read these holes and I move on. A soul's thank you. Guns and butter with Scipio. The tesseract was the soul stone. If your lungs go out, so does your soul. The moment your lungs go out, no organ in your body is powered anymore. Once that breath, that soul goes out, that's it. That's it. Tesseract is the soul, and you are heirs to the home of the tesseract. But not only was the tesseract discovered inside of you, you crystallizable mutants, you people who they had never seen before, you people who got this energy stored up inside of you that they want, you people whose ancestors conducted energy, you people whose ancestors did not die because they strategically buried themselves under hematite for protection. Copper for the purposes of conducting, and many other conductors. I need y'all. Thank you, Copper Color Goddess. I need y'all to know that your family, I don't care whether y'all talk or not, this subject matter needs to mend your family. Because this is y'all land. This is y'all land. These was y'all they found. These was y'all they found. Over 200,000 of these damn pyramids here. That does not even include the burial sites. Y'all. One of the stones is your soul. The tesseract, the last infinity stone. It ain't the white people's soul. It ain't the Native Americans' Pinkfoot Siberian soul. Even they, one of them was joking on my post today, saying, don't you know y'all are being slaughtered? I know you saw that, Sister Lyrica. I know you saw that. Don't you know y'all are being slaughtered? Y'all are being exterminated, not us. Thank you for admitting that, you actor. Because I know when y'all go out there and say, Native American women and children are missing, I know you get paid as an actor to say that. I know you are talking about us. We know you're not being trafficked. We know we are the ones being trafficked. So you didn't even have to say that on my post because I already knew you was an actor the whole time. I've been said it. Thank you for admitting it. All you motherfuckers who are under this Native American banner, who get out here and try to protest in front of the camera, saying Native women and children are missing, you are coached to say that because these motherfuckers have to tell us the truth. We knew you weren't missing off near a reservation. If they wanted to wipe a reservation out, they'll wipe all you motherfuckers out in one day. Because y'all all in the same neighborhood. We know it when y'all missing. It's a little bit harder to find us. You can't come and wipe out Atlanta. They got the same goddamn guns you got. We don't all stay in the same neighborhood in Atlanta. If some shit go down in one neighborhood in Atlanta, somebody gonna make a phone call and say, there's some shit going down in our neighborhood. Y'all need to strap up. Y'all can't do that on a reservation. Where you gonna go? How you gonna escape? You in the heart of the goddamn desert. Where are you gonna go? So we knew this whole time it was you motherfuckers talking as us. I knew when you all went to say, oh, there's so many Native American women and children going missing, and you painted your damn hand red and put it over your mouth. I knew you weren't talking about yourself. You motherfuckers ain't missing. Y'all bold on the internet. Y'all bold on the internet. Y'all talk shit boldly as an actor for the nigga. You trading places for the sake of your acting skills. You've been doing it. Your ancestors did that. That's why you don't know who your third-time great-grandmother is, because you motherfuckers came over as little babies. Those of you who, your ancestors who came over as adults, they've been killed off. You motherfuckers came over as little babies in the late 1800s. That's why you can't trace past the late 1800s. You'll never be able to trace in the 1700s, ever. Unless you're tracing back to a full cracker, like some of y'all do when y'all try to trace back to Cody. I already showed you who that ancestor was. So it ain't no secret. Y'all don't have to come on my post and say y'all are being exterminated. Duh, Captain Motherfucking Obvious. Y'all just watched one of my videos where I was telling us about the land. Going back to March of last year. When I came out against this shit, before these frontline doctors came out, go back to last year when I was one of the first on the internet to say, hey, y'all, it was a do not resuscitate order signed in today by Donald Trump. Everybody who go in the hospital gonna die. Go all the way back since you motherfuckers like to research. There's some plenty of videos out there I did about this bullshit war. I was able to do it because I know about history. I know this shit repeat. I didn't just start doing this shit, y'all. So all these little $5 foot longs, you niggas didn't even take the real COVID shot. They didn't give y'all the real COVID shot, because more of y'all would be dead. Because you have a lower human genetic makeup. And you need the tesseract. For the sake of your kids. You need the tesseract to survive. For your race. For your test tube baby race to survive. Now, I ain't come on here to go on no rants. I just came here to put a little bug in y'all ear. Because this tesseract shit hit me. I'm watching all these frontline doctors talk about, you know, how it was fake. The whole thing was planned and black people was targeted. And I'm here to tell y'all today, we have no allies. I don't give a fuck what these people say. What I don't care about them trying to now tell us we was targeted. We know that. What we trying to do now is figure out who we fucking need to sue. Because I'd be damned if a frontline doctor who was complicit in these fucking murders gonna sue the government and get money. Bitch, y'all kill people too. Where was y'all when these families had to bury their loved ones? Y'all didn't pay for Neil's funeral. And y'all want to do a class action lawsuit. You motherfuckers ain't the tesseract. They ain't said there was no crystals in you niggas' lungs or brains. They say a lot of you don't even have the right genetic makeup. They don't even know how a lot of you is even still alive. It's a plenty class action lawsuits that need to happen right now. The first class action lawsuit is with all these goddamn COVID murders on our community. The second class action lawsuit is all these goddamn excavations on our ancestors that the Native Americans were put in place as actors so that when they excavate these bodies, the Native Americans can then get on TV and say, oh, these were the bodies of our ancestors. At this point, they was full fucking Siberians. They was full Eskimos doing this bullshit. Now, as of this week, they're saying, oh, we never said we was from Siberia. We never said nothing about this Eskimo stuff. Oh, yes, you fucking did. Because I can pull up a plenty interviews of you people saying this bullshit. When a mound site is found, a Native American is there as an actor to say, oh, our ancestors was found. We need these body parts. We need these bones. We need the skeletons. They get the skeletons. They get everything that's found in the goddamn grave. They get everything. As an actor for the government, for the Smithsonian and other state archaeologists, to get your bones, get your remains, and study you. To get whatever they find in your tomb and sell it. And trade it in museums all over the motherfucking world. It's so much nigga shit in the British Museum. The only museums that are even valuable are the ones with nigga shit in them. What was World War I about? Nigga shit. How many artifacts was taken from America during World War I? When nations was fighting over artifacts and pretending and acting. I was fighting over artifacts and you was changing the names of your shithole countries to the vast empires that was found in America when you bitches came over. You created little companies and put a value on the goddamn diamonds. And to this day, you creating companies and you putting value on stones that our ancestors used. We weren't born to get fucked over. Were we born to get fucked over, y'all? Somebody just please let me know. Because if we were born to get fucked over, if we're not supposed to avenge these ancestors, somebody let me know. Somebody please let me know. Because, boy, I'm going all out for mine. Whatever they pull out that goddamn mound, my family gonna get it. It ain't no Native American actor can say or do a motherfucking thing about it nowhere on this land, because you've never heard of them bitches owning land nowhere. But what you have heard is that your grandmama owned land. What you have heard is that your great granddaddy owned land. What you have heard is that your ancestor was a sharecropper. That's what you've heard. What you have heard is that heirs property is in the nigger community. When Vice did that documentary on heirs property, it wasn't there white people up there talking about they got heirs property. Them was niggas. And the white people was in the courthouses trying to see how they can get the property from the niggas. If that means they got to kill them off, that's what it is. Go watch it. Go pull it up, y'all. Multiple people have did documentaries on heirs properties. Not one of them was talking about motherfucking Native Americans. Not one of them was talking about pink Siberians, nor white Europeans, nor black Africans. These here Negroes, Nagas, niggers, African American, coloreds, Indians, Aboriginal.